So, Chris,
Yes.
what happens when you really need to retain the rights to the Spider-Man film franchise, but you don't feel like waiting for Sam Raimi?
Yep. Welcome back to the Out of Touch podcast. I'm Chris, that's Bill, and we watched Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2.
All right, let's set the scene a little bit.
All right.
So, for some reason, instead of giving us Spider-Man 4, like they should have, sorry, it's my problem.
That was loud.
It's my problem. It's my problem.
It's late. People are sleeping, Bill.
I don't give a fuck.
All right.
I don't give a fuck. Just like Sony didn't give a fuck.
Okay.
Yeah, so Sony decided to reboot Spider-Man rather than continue after Spider-Man 3 because reasons, shenanigans. So we got Amazing Spider-Man, an origin story. Again, 10 years after Spider-Man 1, they did the origin again.
Yeah.
This time with Andrew Garfield and the Lizard instead of Green Goblin and Gwen Stacy instead of Mary Jane. So I guess it's different.
Yeah. I mean, okay, Amazing Spider-Man 1. I don't hate this movie. There's a lot of good in it, but there's also like a lot of like weirdness in it too.
It's a movie, it's one of several movies that saw Batman Begins. Let's do that. Like, make it more grounded, more real, except for the part with the giant lizard man. But there's definitely some Batman Begins in this DNA.
Yeah, I would say like kind of like the parts where he's, kind of parkouring before he's actual Spider-Man going through the city, because there's no sense in recapping this plot. You know who Spider-Man is. Peter Parker bitten by a radioactive Spider-Man. Uncle Ben dies.
Well, it's not even a radioactive spider. It's a genetically enhanced spider created at Oscorp.
Yes.
And that becomes important.
To make webs and venom.
Stuff. I think that comes later.
Yeah.
For half this movie is just following the same beats that the first Spider-Man movie did, but just taking longer.
Yeah. He doesn't get bit by the spider until about 25 minutes into the movie.
I mean, I'll give him credit. The fact that he enters a room, it's just filled with spiders, and a million spiders fall him, and I'm just like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope. It's get itchy thinking about it.
It's weird. I guess positive things first. Andrew Garfield plays a kind of different Peter Parker, but it works.
He starts out more introverted.
Yeah.
He kind of grows more confidence as the movie goes.
Also, all the stuff with him and Emma Stone is great.
Yes, they got really good chemistry, so much so that it's spilled out into real life for a little bit.
Yeah.
She's good. She's a good actress. I gotta say, though, Andrew Garfield might be my favorite Spider-Man in terms of in-costume behavior, because when he's suited up as Spider-Man, he acts the way I think Spider-Man should act.
Yeah, he's really good, and unfortunately, it's like he was like in like a weird time for Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, because everyone was like, no, we want Spider-Man 4. And then, but of course, by the time the second movie rolled around, it was like, we want Spider-Man in the MCU.
Yeah.
Boo!
Pretty much.
This guy couldn't win no matter what.
The first one sort of tried to ape off of Batman Begins. The second one tried to be Avengers, or at least set up Avengers for Spider-Man.
Avengers, but bad guys.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
I also think out of the three movie Spider-Mans, he's the one, just from a body type standpoint, looks also the most like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Because I'm more used to the more angular, scrawny, kind of lean Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire's got kind of the everyman figure, but then you got little Tom Holland who looks like a little kid.
Yeah, he definitely does. But, man, it's hard to talk about these movies because they're so, like, all over the place.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. I will say the Aunt May, Uncle Ben stuff is pretty good.
Solid, it's fine.
Uncle Ben is pretty fun.
Martin Sheen?
Yeah.
Redeeming himself in terms of comic book movies?
Yeah, I guess so. He's got a fun moment with Peter when, Peter, of course, gets Spider-Man powers, beats up Flash Thompson, because of course he does, because Flash Thompson's the dick.
Yep.
Uncle Ben goes to school because Peter's been a bad boy. He sees Peter at the school, like, looking at Gwen, or Gwen's there, and Peter's like, oh, is that the girl? He has you on his computer. I'm his parole officer. Like, that type of stuff is pretty fun.
I'll say this, ages of the actors and actresses aside, they're all in like their mid to late 20s, a lot of them, except for that one girl that looks like she's actually from high school.
Yeah, it's very awkward when there's high school kids with
the 20-somethings.
Andrew Garfield, and it's just like, why is that man there?
But it felt like a real high school.
Yeah.
Like the first Spider-Man movie, we don't really spend a lot of time in the Tobey Maguire in high school. We spend like 5 minutes in high school, and then we just run away from it.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of school Tom Holland Spider-Man's going to. Some kind of weird fictional super high school.
It's weird because I think this Peter Parker also goes to the like Midtown Science School too.
Yeah, it says it. Midtown Science High.
So but it's still like a special school, I guess.
I guess Flash is in there on a scholarship.
Yeah, he's good at sports ball.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this, out of the 3 Flash Thompsons, I like this one the most because it's the most real. He's just kind of a dick, but he's not like a cartoonishly evil person like the first one, and he's not just like an annoying doofus like the new one.
Yeah. They kind of made it more realistic, like, I guess, in a way where, for the most part, like, bullies are not as cartoonish as they usually are portrayed.
Yeah, sometimes they're just dicks. And sometimes if you punch them in the face once, they might actually become your friend. It's weird sometimes.
Yeah.
That kind of happened to me once.
He's just kind of like an asshole kid.
Yeah.
Peter Parker has a mom and dad in this.
That was their big point of difference for this series, was that we're going to do the untold stories, what they marketed it on. But really the untold story was Peter's parents. He had parents. They died. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, we don't know why until the second movie.
We kind of know why. It's kind of implied, I think. We know there's some shady stuff with Oscorp, and that's why they flee. It's not so much implied that their death via plane crash was caused by Oscorp.
Yes. I will say the Spider-Man suit is a little different in this. However, I think I still like it more than any of the MCU Spider-Man suits. I think the eye lenses are a little weird on this suit.
They're a little small.
They're small and they're like
Spider-Man
yellow. Like, that's one thing. Like,
there's a weird texture with the suit too that's different. It's interesting. I think it's because they were trying to make it seem more grounded. So they were like, it's like a luge suit or something.
Yeah. I like how he builds the web shooters.
Yeah.
Right? You get a little hint of he's good at mechanical stuff.
Yeah, they show that right away with his little weird lock mechanism in his room.
Yeah. But let's talk about like the elephant in the room.
The lizard?
Or the lizard in the room, because like I think a lot of the lizard stuff really is like stupid.
Poor Peter Parker.
I think the lizard can be a cool villain if it is like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde situation, but
sure.
And granted, this is mainly a thing in the comics where the lizard's whole thing is he's trying to turn people into other lizard people.
So you accusing this movie of not being true to the source material?
I'm not. I'm just saying the source material is like goofy and it's like so dumb. It's like, why?
I don't know.
He gets turned into the lizard because he wants to regrow his arm, and he worked with Peter Parker's father on like cross-species genetics.
He wants to regrow his arm.
I guess like in this type of universe, it's like, couldn't he just get like a prosthetic arm that works perfectly? But whatever.
Well, this is the first movie. It's a more grounded universe. The next movie, it's like, why don't you just have a robot arm?
Yeah,
they probably
Oscorp made a freaking robot Rhino for some reason.
We'll get to the Rhino. Hang on to that.
Okay.
Hang on to the Rhino.
But anyway.
We're talking about the noseless Voldemort motherfucker lizard man. I don't know how I know that reference, but I just remember everyone calling him Voldemort. But I have a question.
Yeah.
What the fuck's a Voldemort?
He's the main villain of Harry Potter.
What's that?
He's like an evil wizard man that killed Harry Potter's parents.
Again, who's Harry Potter?
He's British. There's a movie where a bunch of kids go to a wizard school in England to learn magic. Also, it takes place in like modern days, and this is a big tangent, but this is my main peeve with Harry Potter, and I might as well say it now because we will never talk about Harry Potter again on this podcast.
Probably not.
I've always been bothered about Harry Potter that it takes place in the modern day, and all the wizards don't use any technology, and they send owls to each other instead of calling each other on the phone. It's like you could call somebody on a cell phone and talk to them immediately instead of sending a letter by an owl that will potentially poop on your windowsill.
What the fuck?
I'm just saying, the wizards get mad at the humans for using technology where the technology is better than their dumbass animal husbandry sending letters to each other with dumbass owls that can poop in your room when they arrive.
Okay, I really set you off.
Moving on!
In summary, fuck Harry Potter?
I like Harry Potter a lot. It's just that aspect of it just bothers me.
Look, it's okay for you to hate Harry Potter, Chris. Let it out.
Okay.
Let your feelings, let your hatred flow through you.
Anyway, we're talking about Amazing Spider-Man 2 and how... No, we're talking about Amazing
We're not talking about part 2 yet.
Okay.
Stop jumping ahead.
All right, we're talking about Amazing Spider-Man and how the lizard gets turned into a lizard, and he loves being a lizard so much that he thinks other people should be lizards, so he wants to turn everybody else into lizards. Also, for some reason, when he's the lizard and he's doing his activities in the city, there are a million little salamanders running around New York City for some reason, and it is never explained why.
No lizard could live in New York. They would die because of the cold.
Yeah.
It's not like freaking Florida where you step on a lizard no matter where you walk.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
that happened. What else?
Yeah, lizard man. We also have, in conjunction with the lizard, we have the Peter-Gwen romance, which also introduces Captain Stacy, who we met previously in Spider-Man 3. I don't think we mentioned him because he's a completely and utterly pointless character in that movie. Here he serves a purpose,
Yes.
and it's Dennis Leary.
Who I think is a comedian?
Yes, turned actor.
Okay.
He's been in stuff I've liked.
Cool.
Demolition Man.
Is he in Thank You for Smoking, or is that somebody else?
I have no idea. I've never seen that movie.
No.
I'm going to say probably not, but
Okay.
maybe.
That's a good movie. Anyway.
Sure.
And he is in Demolition Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
And he was a firefighter on TV.
Okay. Cool. I don't know what else to say about him. Is just he's the police chief guy, and
Captain.
right, and he's just like Spider-Man's bad because
Vigilantism is wrong.
right.
And, I mean, he's mostly just there to be a dad and be an obstacle for Spider-Man. And then
To get killed.
to get killed by the lizard and cause Spider-Man to have guilt and be all like, stay the fuck away from my daughter, you masked prick.
Yeah.
I mean, Captain Stacy may as well have died flipping the bird to Spider-Man.
I mean, like, Captain Stacy's death is like more on Spider-Man's hands than Uncle Ben's death in this movie, because it's just like this movie almost is.
Uncle Ben died because of his own stupidity in this movie.
Plus, the movie was like, oh yeah, for him to become Spider-Man, Uncle Ben needs to die. Peter and Uncle Ben get into a quick fight, and then Uncle Ben immediately gets killed because
I'll say this.
grocery store robbery.
We get the grocery store robbery. We get the... Peter doesn't have enough money. The guy's being a prick about to take a penny, leave a penny, but apparently it's just a leave a penny tray.
Yeah.
Or whatever nonsense that guy was, like, pulling on him. And Peter leaves. Guy, like, knocks some shit over, fucking grabs some money and some beer, but also throws Peter the milk he was trying to buy. So you get that kind of, like, smug, like, haha, like in the previous version where it's like, it's not my problem.
Yeah.
And then, Uncle Ben dies because of it. But the thing is, it's like, Uncle Ben dies because the guy trips, drops his gun, and Uncle Ben, stupid old man, goes for the gun.
Yeah.
You back away, be like, whoa, man.
Yeah.
Whoa. Or you kick the gun. You don't dive for the gun. Kick that shit.
Yeah.
It's not on Peter.
No,
Just
it's
saying.
not.
Definitely not on Peter. And even then, I don't even think Captain Stacy's death is his fault.
Not really. I mean, Captain Stacy was doing his job.
Yeah, and he was there of his own accord.
And the lizard impaled him.
Yeah,
with
that's all on the lizard.
Yeah.
It's all the lizard's fault.
It's weird how evil the lizard gets
Oh, he's
for like no reason.
a crazy scientist because it's a Spider-Man movie, and you have to have a crazy scientist in a Spider-Man movie.
The lizard wants to make other lizard people.
Because the previous 3 Spider-Man movies, the 2 ones that people really liked, had crazy scientists that went nuts and heard voices and shit in their heads. So we got to do that again, Chris.
That's true.
That's what the thinking was.
I mean, most of Marvel Comics is like, oh no, what has science created?
Yep. Like we said, the chemistry between Peter and Gwen is good, and a lot of the movie does hinge on their relationship.
Yeah, it's the best part about the movie.
It's very, very well done. Generally well liked. I really hated the Peter MJ relationship in Spider-Man 3, so this was kind of a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
I still remember coming out of this movie being like, I don't know how I feel about this movie, because of how much of it was just like, I've seen this. I've seen this part before.
Yeah.
I've seen all of this. The only thing that's different is there's a lizard. Admittedly, some of the lizard versus Spider-Man fights, they're pretty fun. There's a fight in the school. It's fun. There's a great Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah, one of his best.
And Spider-Man's giving quips. I don't know, it's so cheesy and dumb, but I kind of love where he's just like, uh-oh, someone's been a bad lizard.
I think one of my favorite clips is when he, like, first is in the Spider-Man suit, and the one guy he's fighting, like, pulls out the knife, and he's like, oh my god, is that a tiny knife? Tiny knives are my only weakness.
Man, I mean, people like that line tested so well that they made sure to put it in every trailer for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good moment, and I like when the cop shows up, and it's like, who the hell are you supposed to be? And he just looks, he's looking at the guy he's got webbed up. It almost looks like he's breaking the fourth wall. It's like, nobody seems to understand the concept of the mask.
Yeah.
And in that same scene, he starts swinging away, and I get a kick out of it when he's just like, hey, I'm swinging here.
Yeah. It's a fine movie, Amazing Spider-Man 1.
Yeah.
It's kind of uneven, I think, but...
Yeah, it's not the worst Spider-Man movie.
No.
And, you know, it came out in the era of the post and mid-credit scene. And this movie has a mid-credit scene.
Yes.
With the lizard in jail being visited by someone we'd later find out is called Mr. Fierce. Who the fuck is that?
I don't know. He wasn't in the 90s cartoons, so I don't know who he is.
I don't even know if he's actually from the comics.
Okay. Yeah, it has, like, the dumbest setup for the next movie ever, because also, like, the lizard's concerned about Peter, and he's just like, you stay away from him!
Like, I remember people were like, he's like a weird old guy. Is that the Vulture? No, he appeared with lightning. Must be Electro or something. Nope.
Yeah.
We still don't really know.
We'll never know.
No, we won't. This Amazing Spider-Man 3 didn't happen because of Amazing Spider-Man 2. Go! What's it about?
What is it about? Amazing Spider-Man.
It's about
2.
4 different movies.
It is 4 movies. There's the romantic comedy with Peter and Gwen.
It's a teen romance movie starring Peter and Gwen.
There's the mystery about Peter's parents. There's Harry Osborne going crazy.
Tragedy.
And then there's Max Dillon going crazier movie.
I don't know what the fuck's going on with Electro in this movie.
It's weird. Okay, positives first. His suit looks great. I think it's probably still the best looking Spider-Man suit.
I can agree with that.
Like, the beginning of the movie is really good.
Well,
Okay, after the plane crash,
after the weird pointless action
when
scene.
you see Spider-Man for the first time in this movie
'Cause we get-
stop a crime, it's really, really good.
Yes. Because prior to that, we get a weird scene where it's like his dad fighting a guy in a plane, and like, why is this happening? We don't need to see this.
Yeah.
We don't. But yeah, the first Spider-Man scene is great. I would say the Spider-Man scenes in general are pretty good.
Yeah.
I wish they were in a better movie.
Yeah. You know, it has some great Spider-Man clips. Like, a lot of them just, like, we see great scenes of Spider-Man just doing Spider-Man stuff. There's, like, a montage in the movie where he's just, like, doing Spider-Man stuff, and he keeps coming home, like, with, like, different shit on his suit, and he's carrying, like, a big fish at one point for some reason.
Maybe it was a reward. I don't know.
There's a pretty good moment where he saves, like, a police officer with, like, a police car, and he's just like, oh man, it's a good thing you're not one of the police officers riding a horse. And what else is good?
Peter-Gwen relationship is generally well handled, I think.
Yeah, they have really good chemistry, like, together. They're fun together. It's like one of those things where it's just like, why did you kill Gwen Stacy in this movie? Because she dies in the comic. Whatever. Spoiler for a freaking, like, 6-year-old movie.
More than that. 7.
Is it?
It was 2014. It's 2021. The end of 2021.
Right, 7 years ago.
More than that. Almost 8.
Right.
Time. My God.
Whatever. This is a movie that the more you think about, the more you hate.
It's a movie that when you find out that on the Blu-ray release alone, there's 30 minutes of deleted scenes, and then you find out there's even more, the movie begins to make a little bit more sense. Because it's, they made way too much, and they had to cobble something together, and this was the best they could do.
Yeah.
Because Mary Jane was supposed to be in this movie.
I can't even, imagine what it would be like with her in it.
From what I remember reading, there was, a mini subplot where, her dad's being a dick, and then Spider-Man pays him a visit. Where would that go? I don't know.
Yeah.
I know that you could find, pictures and, set videos of, her talking with, Gwen, because, I think she's supposed to be Peter's neighbor, because that's usually what she is, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's weird because they completely cut her out. She's just gone. They never even released the deleted scenes. She just ghosted this version of Mary Jane that we never got.
I remember the actress at least had a pretty good attitude about it because they're like, how you feel about your scenes getting cut? She's just like, I got paid.
Yeah, she did okay for herself. She got in that Divergent franchise that kind of petered out before they finished too.
Well, whatever. I mean,
I'm sure she got paid for those too.
Yeah.
She probably got more money than us, so whatever.
You could see a good movie in it, but
Somewhere.
then it's just they were trying to put way too much stuff in it. And it's hard to explain exactly how it feels, but it's
From scene to scene, things don't match because you go from this teen dramedy movie with Peter and Gwen, and then we jump to this weird shit with Electro. It's just all weird.
It is weird.
It's the only way to describe it. And then we've got this weird story with Harry.
Electro has the dumbest supervillain origin ever. And granted, a lot of these supervillains were made in the 60s. They're stupid. Like you told me, the original origin, he gets struck by lightning and becomes Electro. This one...
Had a power line.
Yes. This one makes it dumber because he gets electrocuted and then falls into a vat of electric eels and gets bitten by electric eels and becomes Electro for some reason.
Well, he's still getting electrocuted.
True. It's literally like Kung Fury getting his kung fu powers by being struck by lightning and bitten by a cobra at the same time.
Huh.
Yes.
Okay, then.
And that's a comedy movie.
This is a comedy, too.
I guess it's funny at times.
Not always intentionally.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, Electro is weird.
Yeah.
I've heard it being described as Riddler from Batman Forever.
Early on, yeah.
Yeah.
When he's got that weird shrine to Spider-Man. But that kind of falls by the wayside pretty quickly. He gets a costume somehow? Where did that come from? Was there a scene where he... No, none of that makes any sense.
Yeah.
He just has it all of a sudden.
Just has underwear on and then he has a costume.
Yep.
Yeah, Electro has dubstep powers sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. We're just gonna talk about some of the characters that don't work.
Harry Osborne.
Harry Osborne, when he first shows up in his interactions with Peter, you're kind of like, okay, this can be kind of cool. Like the guy playing Harry Osborne is just like, okay, this guy seems like he could be a cool Harry Osborne. But as the movie goes on, it's just I don't blame the actor for this because clearly they didn't know how to make Harry Osborne interesting. There's a weird goblin disease Norman Osborn has. We don't.
It's some kind of genetic disorder. They say the name. I'm sure it's made up.
Yeah, he gets green skin and he grows claws because of goblin disease.
Growing out his fingernails because he's in bed and he's fucking weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's goblin.
Goblin disease, whatever.
It's just so he can look like a goblin.
Norman Osborn tells his son, "You're gonna get the goblin disease too someday. You probably already have it."
Goodbye, I'm dead.
Yeah, here's my research about the goblin disease. Also, I made a healing suit that also is the Green Goblin armor and glider. Healing suit, glider thing. I guess it's so soldiers can fight longer. Whatever.
Treat injuries on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Not sure how that works, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Magic science.
Yeah, radiation. I don't know.
I think in the deleted scenes, there's a scene that establishes it better.
Okay.
At least it introduces it better. And there's more. I think Felicia Hardy's in that scene as well. She's in this movie for some reason.
She is in this movie. It's just like, hey, Felicia Hardy, she becomes Black Cat. Are you going to see that? No.
Hey, it's that Smythe guy. He makes the Spider Slayers. Are we going to see that?
No.
All right. The Goblin armor is in the villain origin basement with the Rhino suit, the Doc Ock tentacles, the Vulture wings, and they deleted this, but the Venom symbiote's in there too.
Yeah.
Are we going to see any of that?
Probably not. You know what's bad about all those things? I think the Doc Ock arms, Vulture wings, and the Rhino armor being creations of Norman Osborn are stupid. I can take the Venom symbiote being a creation of Norman Osborn just because of it. I don't know if he made it in the Ultimate Comics, but I know in the Ultimate Comics it had something to do with like a medical purpose of curing cancer, and it's like, okay,
Yeah,
I can deal with that.
It's not Alien in the Ultimate Comics, right?
Yeah, it was like something made to like cure people of cancer.
Because they were cherry picking some stuff from Ultimate Comics, like Electro's design is from the Ultimate Comics.
Yeah. Yeah, Harry Osborn starts off interesting, and then he turns into the Green Goblin, and he turns into a cackling weirdo that probably is like the worst looking Green Goblin.
What the fuck is with the hair?
I don't know. What the fuck is with everything?
The hair.
I know.
Why did that? What is doing that?
His hair's like slicked back.
How?
and-
Why?
I don't know. One of the side effects of the goblin disease is you just have like pomade in your hair now.
I think this is a side effect of the spider venom that he injected himself with.
Oh yeah, right. Because the spider venom is the thing that was supposed to cure Norman Osborn's disease, but it would only work with Peter's father's DNA.
Because he did some stuff on himself, and then he passed that on to Peter. And because he got bit by the spider, that's why he is Spider-Man with no ill effects.
Yes, because it was Peter's destiny to be Spider-Man.
And magic blood because Alex Kurtzman and Robert Orsi.
They're not hacks.
Definitely not. They didn't kill the Zorro movies and the Star Trek movies and the Mummy movie.
Well, as far as we know,
Dark
I
Universe.
guess they're still killing Star Trek.
Well, one of them is.
That's right. It takes him like twice as long
Yeah.
by himself.
Well, on TV especially, TV
Yeah.
takes longer to ruin.
Yeah. One of the things that kind of annoys me is like, and it's not really totally said, but like, it almost feels like it's like you were destined to be Spider-Man type of thing. I'm like, that's stupid.
It'd be a bigger problem if they left in the scene where his dad was still alive.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they would do for a third movie of this.
Clearly, the intent was to build towards the Sinister Six. At one point, a Sinister Six movie was supposed to follow this.
Okay.
I don't know what that would have entailed, but that was the plan. And then the plan kept changing. And then they fired Andrew Garfield, and they went hat in hand to Marvel and said, please help us!
Yeah.
We don't know what the fuck we're doing.
I mean, there was a bunch of like Sony leaked emails that
Oh my god.
like Aunt May movie, Madam Web movie or something.
Oh god, so much shit. And my favorite thing is they apparently asked Kevin Feige for notes on this movie, and he gave them notes. They didn't listen to any of them. Let's read some of them.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Yeah, the notes from the guy that made like all the movies that have been making money now for years.
There are too many storylines. We need to choose which ones we are focusing on and lift out the other ones, i.e., could reduce Father Ark to just Roosevelt.
Makes sense.
Could cut plane crash and Richard destroying spiders and start on armored car. Don't start with Spider-Man. Let the danger/stakes to NYC build first. And then have Spider-Man enter the scene heroically. Have they listened to any of these so far?
No.
Tone down Paul Giamatti's performance. Nope.
I mean, yeah. It's weird. He really wanted to be with Rhino.
Yeah.
I remember seeing interviews with him.
Yeah. Really love Electro. Feels like you may not need the scene in his apartment, which makes him seem completely crazy and hard to relate to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like literally talking to like pictures of Spider-Man like he's there. And then he thinks Spider-Man bought him a birthday cake. So weird. Yeah, this movie is bizarre, and the more you think about it, the more you're like, hey, wait a minute, I think this movie might be bad. I will say one of the things in this movie that really kind of falls apart for me is the final battle between Spider-Man and Electro. Because it's like, he beats Electro, everything seems fine, and then Green Goblin shows up, and you're like, oh my god. And then, you know, we get the death of Gwen Stacy, which is kind of like, this sucks. Like, why are you killing her? Because in the comics she has to die and she's wearing the coat she wore in the comics when she died.
I mean, I get that maybe it was, in retrospect, clearly not the right idea. I do respect the balls to do it because I feel like no one would have the balls to do that right now.
Yeah.
They show Zendaya falling in the new trailer for the new Spider-Man movie. She ain't dying.
No.
However, I would respect the fuck out of them if she did. Because that would take balls. Balls I know Marvel doesn't have anymore.
Well, you know.
They don't have balls.
Venom is going to save her.
We don't know who's going to save her.
Well, we'll see.
We'll take her bets. Does she just get saved by Peter? Does she get saved by Peter? Or does she get saved by Peter?
Or Venom or Morbius. That's my theory. I'm probably wrong, but I think there are no other Spider-Man. It's just going to be Venom and Morbius that show up.
A lot of people on the internet are banking on Andrew Garfield Spider-Man saving her to redeem himself for his past failure.
Okay.
And if so, I'm going to call it, he dies in the process.
Huh. Okay, interesting.
That's just one probability.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if we have 3 Spider-Mans, might want to kill one of them, and less people will get upset if it's Andrew Garfield. People would be mad if they kill Toby.
That's true.
They'd be very mad if they
I've
kill
had
Toby.
more time with Toby.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. The death of Gwen Stacy seems just to me like we have to kill her because she died.
Well, also, The Dark Knight did that.
They did do that.
The Dark Knight was a good movie. We gotta kill the love interest.
Oh my god. Holy shit. I totally just realized that.
All they do is copy other people. They were like copying Marvel's homework, Chris Nolan's homework.
Yeah. Wow. That's right. They killed Rachel.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Which took balls.
Man, those hacks. Even more hacks than I thought.
Yeah. Look who we're talking about
I
here.
just thought, like, they're like, well, she dies in the comics, so she needs to die in the movies. They don't give a shit about the comic. They give a shit about Batman because it made $1 billion. And that's what they wanted to do with this movie so badly. But they suck.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's the reason why there's no Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
It repeated the mistakes that Iron Man 2 made, where it was kind of starting to put the cart in front of the horse. The mistakes that Batman vs. Superman also made late after this. Nobody seems to learn this lesson for some reason.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's not as, I guess, sequel hooky as I originally thought it might be.
It's really only towards the end.
Yeah,
it's just,
the very end, but it's very in your face at the end.
yeah. Like, if they had just, like, not show, like, the origin basement and just be like Harry being all like, oh, I ain't done yet, motherfuckers.
Yeah, I'm evil now because
Goblin disease.
Goblin disease, yeah.
Yeah. Like, that maybe it would have worked better. I have nothing against a sequel hook. We've had sequel hooks forever.
Yeah,
It's just that they've gotten worse at them.
they really have.
Like, my God.
Yeah, you know, this, like I said, there's a good movie somewhere in this, and God knows, it sounds like there's a lot of footage that was shot for this movie
Yeah.
that we haven't even seen.
Some of it we've seen in the trailers. I remember there was, like, the Oscorp people were spying on Peter. That was completely switched and removed. They were spying on Harry. Just dropping some exposition in the exposition van.
Yeah. Also, like, the one board member is, like, in the exposition.
He would not be in that van.
No.
He would not be in the corporate espionage van.
No, he wouldn't be. He's also in, like, the, okay, like, I don't want to be offensive here, but they're keeping Electro at one point in Ravencroft Institute, and he's literally being experimented on by, I'm just going to call him a Nazi scientist, because he's, like, German, and he's wearing a white lab coat, and he's got black gloves on. And it's like a stereotype.
Dr. Strangelove.
Yeah.
Mein Führer!
Yes. Why is he being experimented on by a Nazi scientist?
Because it's a movie.
I know.
Is that guy a character?
I have no idea.
I just figured because they snuck in so many other random fucking Spider-Man characters in this movie for no real reason, other than we hope to use them in a spin-off or sequel later.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
No.
That hasn't stopped them from... They had this grand, ambitious plan for a Spider-Man cinematic universe.
They still do.
I know. They're still trying. They might actually succeed this time.
Well, they got Marvel helping them now.
Helping them a little bit, but they're still on their own with all the other movies they're trying to do. Like more Venom movies, Morbius movie, Kraven the Hunter movie starring the guy from Kick-Ass.
Boy, that's a choice. I guess they're like, hey, you know, when you played Quicksilver, you sort of did an Eastern European accent. Maybe you can make that sound a little more Russian? You can be Kraven the Hunter. This sounds even worse than the Morbius movie.
Yeah. Because you know what? Morbius is a character I feel like can exist independent of Spider-Man. Kraven just shows up and hunts Spider-Man. That's what he does. That's all he does.
Yep.
What's this movie going to be about? He's a big game hunter. We're supposed to root for a big game hunter? What's he going to do? Is he going to just hunt the lizard?
I don't know.
What is that? How is this going to even work? At least Venom has other Venoms to fight.
Yeah, he's fought most of them already, though.
Yeah, he's got one more toxin, I guess.
Yeah. Was Kraven the Hunter supposed to be an Amazing Spider-Man at one point? I think I remember seeing something that like they kind of teased.
During the credits,
we didn't watch it. But the credits tease it.
As soon as the movie ended, we just hit stop. But yeah, the credits showed like the Doc Ock tentacles and the Vulture wings and the Rhino armor and apparently Kraven's spear.
Right.
I guess that's Oscorp tech.
I guess.
I don't know.
Oscorp made a spear.
I didn't know Kraven had a signature weapon. I just thought he'd just use whatever. Just had a bunch of shit.
Yeah, I just thought he was strong, but
he's got like guns and different things. I didn't know he had any specific weaponry.
Yeah.
Other than the nipple lasers from the 60s.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not from the nipples, but they look like they are.
The lion eyes. Yeah. I guess the very end of the movie we get the Rhino show up, and as we're watching it, I'm like, yeah, this is a goofy comic book movie, but why did Oscorp make a Rhino robot?
Because it's the most dangerous animal in Africa, Chris.
It's not, though. The hippo is.
But the hippo doesn't sound that cool.
It doesn't, but it's kind of like, okay, I can get the wings. I can maybe even get the Dr. Octopus arms, even though that's a bit of a stretch.
They're just robot arms.
Yeah, but fine. Like military use. It's like, we've got the greatest weapon, Rhino robot. Why?
Why not?
It's dumb.
I'm amazed we didn't see like the scorpion suit too.
We might as well have seen. We should have seen it. If they're gonna be that like dumb with it, Rhino suit, Vulture wings, Dr. Octopus, Scorpion thing. They could have just done all the animal themed villains for Spider-Man.
Sure, why not at this point?
I mean, it would have at least made a little more sense now that I think about it, because they were doing cross-genetic animal research stuff.
So somebody had animals in the brain and started making robots.
Plus, Oscorp is like a biotech company, but they also are doing other stuff because they made the power grid for the city, and they do robotics.
They could do multiple brands. They have multiple divisions. It's fine. It works. I don't have a problem with that aspect.
I guess so. They're a conglomerate. They've got many different things.
You know what's weird? You don't know this because you refused to watch the Morbius trailer.
Yes, I do.
You even deliberately got up and left the movie theater when it played.
I had to go to the bathroom.
Sure.
It just happened to be playing when I was in the bathroom.
Yeah, you're a liar. Apparently in that trailer, we see an Oscorp tower, and it's the one from these movies.
Oh. Interesting.
Yes. But we have the Daily...
I guess they saved a little money.
Sure. I mean, they also use the Daily Bugle from the Tobey movies.
Okay.
And then we have the Vulture from the Tom Holland movies. What universe is that movie in?
There's a hybrid universe where they all exist together.
Yeah, so there's just 3 Spider-Mans.
All right.
obviously, Toby's the grandpa, Andrew's the dad, and Tom's the son.
Okay.
3 generations of Spideys.
So it's like the Flash.
Exactly like the Flash.
Yeah.
It's the J. Barry Wally situation.
Yeah.
So it's
And they're all the Flash. Just like
Yes!
they're all Spider-Man.
I like it. I got your idea for Spider-Man 4, Marvel and Sony.
It's gonna be called Spider-Man Forever. Yep.
It's taken.
It is?
Batman Forever was a thing. They're not going to do that again.
But even with the number 4 in it?
They're not going to do that.
That's true.
Plus, I think Shrek 4 did that. Oh, no, maybe they... Did they do that? Shrek 4?
There's a Shrek 4?
Yes.
Huh.
Maybe that was like a previous title. I think the movie had more than one title. Like they changed it at some point. I feel like one of them was like Forever. I don't know. Who cares?
Interesting. Yeah.
Fuck Shrek.
Whatever. I think that first Shrek movie is really good.
I saw it too many times in one day and I hate it.
Now and forever.
One of those times it was in Spanish.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, in multiple languages.
Yes. That was a long day. And when I thought it was over, I walk into a room and it's playing again.
Every class you went into that day, I was just like, you walk in and it's just like, somebody, and you're like, oh God.
It's kind of close to what actually happened. But yeah, so Spider-Man's. Maybe we'll see Andrew Garfield again someday. Though he'll deny it till he dies, or till at least the next movie comes out.
Maybe we won't.
Yeah, maybe he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
He's either telling the truth or is a liar. We won't know for some time.
Amazing Spider-Man 2. Interesting. Not horrible, but confusing the more you think about it.
Fascinating just from a behind-the-scenes standpoint.
Yeah.
Consider all the bullshit that happened afterwards. Especially because we know all about it thanks to the email hack.
Yeah.
Like, you can just read up on everything that happened in the aftermath of this movie.
Like
and all the weird, dumb ideas Sony had.
Yeah. 30 minutes of deleted scenes and possibly another, like, hour of deleted scenes
Yes.
never seen by the public.
Yes. And Amy Pascal threw a sandwich at Kevin Feige.
Wow, really?
Yes, that apparently actually happened.
Man.
Because he was like, hey, we should work together. She's like, fuck you!
My God. Man, you think, like, he'd just be like, never mind, bitch.
He's like, you'll come crawling back. You'll see! Yes, Kevin Feige's actually a supervillain. He's actually Doctor Doom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
definitely makes sense. More sense than The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. Well, on that note,
Do you recommend these movies?
that's a hard thing to think about because it's just like there are better Spider-Man movies.
Yes.
But at the same time, the first Amazing Spider-Man is not really that bad, but the second one is kind of
It's
confusing
kind
and
of-
sort of has like a cliffhanger type of
an unresolved cliffhanger of sorts.
ending that you're...
I'll say this. Yeah, they're interesting to look at. But is it weird that rewatching these, I think I like Andrew Garfield Spider-Man better than Tom Holland Spider-Man.
I would agree with that, actually.
I like that he acts like how Spider-Man acts. He's
Yeah.
not tied to another superhero. He's not just like Iron Man's sidekick. Also, he's Spider-Man. He does Spider-Man things.
Yes. There's no bad Spider-Man stuff in the Amazing Spider-Man movie. It's mainly just the story stuff.
The narrative that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's not the action stuff, the performance, the suit. It all works.
Yeah.
It's not like this weird... The MCU Spider-Man's weird because it's like... It's not Mary Jane, it's just Michelle Jones. But we're going to call her MJ.
Yeah, she's a different character.
It's completely different. Absolutely different. Also, Flash, he's not like a jock bully. He's an intellectual rival, except we're going to botch that because he's an idiot. So he's just some doofus that talks shit and nobody really pays much attention to him. So why is he even in the movie?
I don't mind the MCU like cast for Spider-Man. Like I like Ned.
I like Ned. I like him.
I think
I like the idea of Peter having a friend.
yeah.
I like that.
I think MJ is fine. I mean, they might as well just be like, hey, she's like Michelle or something. It's kind of weird that they call her MJ. It's just like whatever, new character, Spider-Man.
Or just have her be Mary Jane.
Yeah, that too. Just
Or one of the other female characters that Spider-Man dates.
Yeah.
Why is this weird original character bullshit?
Yeah, that is dumb.
It's
she
very
should
dumb.
just be Mary Jane at this point. Yeah.
It makes no sense. That's the problem I have with that character. Well, she
Yeah.
was kind of annoying in Homecoming.
She got better in Far From Home, and from what I've seen in this new movie, I'm like, yeah, she's fine.
Though, I've said it before, I'll say it again. If her neck gets snapped, balls. If she lives, fine, but no balls, Marvel.
Because
We got no balls.
Tom Holland's Spider-Man has nothing to feel guilty about.
He really doesn't, because who's Uncle Ben?
We don't know.
We'll probably never know.
Yeah. Well, there's that origin series, Disney
Doesn't
Plus.
count.
Okay, whatever.
If it's not in the movie, it doesn't count. If it's not live action, it definitely doesn't count.
Well, with all that being said, I guess the next Spider-Man thing will be Far From Home. No, wait. What's the new one called? No Way Home. I almost said Go Home. Go home. This podcast is over. Go watch Amazing Spider-Man, maybe.
I mean, you might want to, because stuff from that is in the next movie. So do your homework.
The Amazing Spider-Man movies are not really amazing. Well, Spider-Man stuff is amazing.
I should say this. I have to say this because I need to brag about this, even though I can't prove it.
Okay.
But after Spider-Man 3, and when we found out they were going to reboot it, I said, I bet they call it The Amazing Spider-Man.
That's true, you did.
Yeah.
And we thought, or at least I thought, the MCU Spider-Man movies would be called Spectacular Spider-Man.
But I called, it'll just be Spider-Man, subtitle.
Yep.
I wouldn't have guessed that they would cling to this weird home pun. They won't stop. Why won't they stop? No Way Home, Far From Home, Go Home,
Yep.
Home Slice,
Home Slice.
Homeboy, Home on the Range.
Yeah.
I'm going home.